Right.
So.
Right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
So Tim, what would you do with $1 million?
Well, did you stop it?
No. No, go on.
What would I do with $1 million?
What would you do with $1 million, Tim LaRose?
Well, yeah, it's bold. It's a bold thing to think that I could, save the world with $1 million. And maybe I can't. Well, actually, I can't. I personally cannot save the world with $1 million. However, I have a plan that could give people the capability for them to help me change the world. Because when we say save the world, it's such a broad scope. It's like eating a pizza in one bite. You can't do it. If you were to say to me, eat that pizza in one bite, you're like, oh, I can't do that. And when we do that, we can't get our head around something like that. So what we have to do is, but if you were to say to me, could you eat this pizza one bite at a time? And I was like, well, I'd be full, but I probably could do it. So to say that I can save the world is a misrepresentation. Do I have a plan to help everybody else help the world? I do. So if I had $1 million, first thing I would do is I would hire Malcolm Flintoff, who happens to be just like one of the brightest programmers out there. Because unfortunately, I'm like an artist with paintbrushes with no paint. I have this great idea, and I formulated it from start to finish, but I, by myself, cannot put it together. So it's like, I think I've told you before, it's like I have all these bricks, and all these bricks are the components of the foundation of how we can actually change the world. But I need I need a mason. I need somebody to be able to attach those bricks so that it all works together. So that's the first thing I do is I would hire him. And of course, I would get the word out there. I guess that's really what we have to do. I guess that's what we're trying to do right now. Him, more programmers, some server space to start, that kind of thing. Now, what's that all for, I guess, is the next question. What's that?
What's that all for?
Yeah, what is that all for? Well, first we got to look at some of the issues, I guess, really, and it's like, we hear a lot about the 98%, the 2%, or the 99%, or the 1%, or whatever it is. But the fact of the matter is, we all watched that Russell Brand video. We all know how awesome that was when he was saying like there are people out there willing to make change. We just have to buy into it. And if I was Russell Brand, everybody would be watching this going, yeah, I'm going to do that. But I'm not Russell Brand. I'm a 50-year-old guy who's broke, living in Kingston with my awesome roommate Bonnie and our kids. And we're trying to change the world from this place right here.
Yep, Points Planet Central.
Points Planet Central is right. So, let's get right down to it. So, online right now, the juggernauts of the internet, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, AOL, Yahoo, they make their billions of dollars through internet advertising. Billions. This year alone, $117 billion are going to be generated in ad revenue worldwide. And at a record-breaking, if you read, you can Google this. If you read it, $37 billion profit. That's a lot of money. And I'm not one of these, although I believe, because I am part of the 98%, I guess, I don't believe that every millionaire or billionaire should suffer and everybody should be equal, because I honestly don't believe in the eradication of classes. what I do believe in is what we can do is like eating that pizza in one bite. We can't put our head around it, but what we can do, what we can put our head around is elevating the standard and the quality of life for people. Now, there are people out there that are part of the 2%. You know what? They worked really hard to get their money. They're not the 2% that we want to go after. And I don't even really want to go after Google and Facebook. I really don't. But the fact of the matter is, they make a lot of money. And at the end, what happens to the end profit distribution? It's not really going to the 98%. We're making that money for them. And good on them. But the fact of the matter is we're making that money for them, and we're not getting nothing back for that. So we can change that. All we have to do is change the way we think. And it's not even that big of a thing. It's like, if we did what we did every day, but we just did it at a different address. As simple as that. It's like we move a million times in our lives. We become accustomed to this. And I am old enough to remember when MySpace was the juggernaut of everything and nobody would touch it. But then Facebook came along and it was like, what's MySpace? Nobody even liked MySpace. It's not even in the top 10. Out of that $117 billion it's generated, the top 10 makers, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Yahoo, AOL, $53 billion they generate a year. Google generates 33% of the net revenue of advertising online. Now, what if we were to take that money and give it to the people that actually earn that money? What if we were to take that money and say, you Bonnie Beals, you go online and you go to Chat for Change, and every time you send a message to your friends, you're going to earn a point. And that point, at that point, it's just a point. But if we get enough people to believe that we can change this, if we get enough people to believe that the 98% deserves something for all the hard work we do online. Sometimes we're just like, we like videos and we like friends and we like this and we like that. But the fact of the matter is, there are people out there that use the internet for what it should be used for. Education, distance education, anything. But what if it's just for chat, or listening to a song, or buying a song, or anything that you sell? Like, what if everything that you did, you got points for? And what at the end of every year, we were to take that $37 billion and we're to divide all the points, and we give those points a monetary value, and then we let you decide where that money goes. Now, you don't get that money personally, but you can decide whatever cause it is that's within the Points Planet, whatever cause that is. I have causes. I've been around the world, and I've made promises to people that I'm going to help them. And I've worked 6 years on this thing to come up with this. Now, the idea seems like it's a simple one. And actually it is. But I have this saying, well, it's not my saying. It's like, knowing's only half the battle, G.I. Joe. It's like, you saw the commercials, the G.I. Joe commercials, it says knowing's half the battle. But I say knowing's only half the battle. So the idea is actually simple, and we're not reinventing the wheel here, and I don't even pretend to do that. All I'm saying is, we can take the money that we earn, and we could put it back towards social change. So for me, causes are veteran affairs. I was in the military. I have friends that run organizations in India, friends in Sierra Leone, organizations, these grassroots organizations that, because they don't live in what we call the first world, we don't know about, but I know about them, and they do great work, and with just a little bit of help, they continue to be able to do that. Yeah, so you take this idea, and you just say, okay, listen, go to Points Planet, and right now it's going to be like we're launching Social Network and Chat for Change. But what's coming up is Self for Change, Mail to Change, Songs for Change, a bunch more. Anything that you do, we're going to put it in one environment. One login, you're logged in. You're, down the road, it's going to be wherever you are, your information is going to be. And what do you care? But you might not care specifically about my causes, but I'm damn sure you care about something. You got to have somebody in your life that you're like, oh, it's down and out, or it doesn't get treated fairly, whether they're gay, whether they're a wounded soldier, whether they have cancer, whether they have multiple sclerosis, whether they're just down and out. We, the 98%, can help those people. The minute that we start asking permission from the 2% to do what we want to do is where we lose. So we have to band together. I have this, it's not a very good thing. Bad people do bad things and can get away with it because they are organized. Good people, because they have good hearts and they live within a certain environment, believe that if they're good, it's good enough. But that is not going to change the world. And at some point, all that bad will come crashing in at our door. We have to stop that. And the only way we can do that is to educate people. And the only way we can educate people is to be able to fund them. And the only way that we can get enough funds to be able to do that and keep that going is to make it scalable and sustainable. And the only people that can do it are the 98, 99%, depending on what part of the world you live in. Mm-hmm. Points Planet, because there's nobody else crazy out there that's going to say, hey, you know what? We're going to make $1 billion, but I'm not going to be a billionaire. Because I don't want to be a billionaire. I like my life. I have a good little life. I really like it. And it honestly scares the shit out of me to be doing this. Because I really don't want my life to change. But like I said to my son last week, I have to do it because if I have an idea that can help start to change the world, then it's selfish of me not to do it. So now we're making this video. So, this is what it comes down to. And this is what we need. One, we need people like you that understand where I'm coming from, live the life that I'm living, but are online and do those things online. And I need you to believe that you can be the one that can start to change. Wherever you live in the world, you can do it. Go to Points Planet and sign up. That's all you got to do. This is the start. We got to start somewhere, and this is the start. Peter Griffin says, I've got a plan. A plan so big that my head would explode if I began to know what I was talking about. And this is kind of like that. This is the beginning of that plan. For me to be able to explain how it all works, what we do with the money, that would be an hour-long program, and I would lose your interest. But what we can say about that is that we believe in being 100% transparent with our funds. So what that means is when we actually start to generate revenue, and my roommate and I are not taking it out of our pocket every single day, when we start to generate that revenue, you'll always be able to go to Points Planet and you'll always be able to see our finances every single day. And then when we get those programmers that we need, they'll create it so that you can see an up-to-date where our books are every single waking second of the day. That's our promise. That's my promise. So, that's my plan. And that's what I would do with $1 million. So, listen, if you're out there and you got $1 million and you believe in changing the world and you believe that maybe just a guy that lives in Kingston, Ontario, Canada, who lives in a small little house can be the guy to start the change of the world, then my email is tim@pointsplanet.com and you can contact me anytime. To everybody else that has actually stayed around to watch the end of this video, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And I just want you to know that if I can do it, you can do it. but we need to do it together. And this is a plan. And if somebody else has a better plan, I'm all ears. Or go out there and do it yourself if you can. And I get the irony right now that this video is actually on YouTube and we're using Facebook. The fact of the matter is that's where the people are. And I don't want to make those people poor. I just want to enrich other people's lives. So I'm Tim LaRose, and I thank you very much for taking the time.